Every child has the right to be protected, yet children are so vulnerable because so many aspects of their lives are influenced by adults. As adults, we all have some connection to children, whether it is being a parent or even if in our work with children in our organizations. So we have this collective responsibility to protect children and to create environments where they can reach their full potential. A child protection policy in its most basic form is an active working document that guides an organization on how to protect children. It outlines procedures for the staff, the board, the volunteers, on how recruitment must be done, how screening must be done, how the people must be appointed within the organization, and also how the team must be managed and trained so that everyone within the organization knows exactly how to protect children and act in the best interest all the time. There are actually a few steps in developing and implementing a child protection policy. The first step is to develop a child protection policy that's very specific to the context of the organization. The second step is that once the policy has been developed, it must be approved and adopted by the board of directors or the management committee of the organization. Then the leadership must ensure that the staff team is trained on the implementation of that policy, and the implementation must also be monitored consistently to ensure that children are truly protected within the organization. Lastly, there's a very important step, and that is that the leadership of the organization must review the child protection policy of the organization to ensure that the content of the policy remains updated and in line with the latest child protection legislation. Apart from the obligations that are mandated by legislation such as the POPI Act and other child protection legislation, we must also remember that there are many other safety and risk factors that one should take into consideration. So I would advise that every organization makes an informed decision on how they will use and process the images of children, but they must always make sure that whatever action they take, they still uphold the best interest principle of the child. In South Africa, there are two main screening points or action points with regards to people that work in the life space of children. The first one is to check persons against Part B of the National Child Protection Register. Part B of the Child Protection Register lists persons who are deemed unsuitable to work with children, and this check is done through Form 29. There is another check, and that is called police clearance, and this police check a person's criminal record status, especially related to crimes against children. We also advise that beyond these two checks, reference checks are done to ensure that people that are appointed have a good record in terms of working with children. And we further recommend that not only employees are screened, but also board members and volunteers of organizations. This is a very exciting workshop that we will implement in collaboration with Valcare. And in this workshop, we will focus on empowering people with child protection knowledge, but also provide them with a step-by-step approach on how to develop and implement a child protection policy for their organization. I think what I really like about this workshop and what's really exciting is that it's not only theory, but we share practical examples, we provide our delegates with templates, and we also make the theory come alive with interactive discussion. Even beyond just creating child protection awareness, we need to ensure that every action and decision that we take really make a difference for children on ground level. Child protection is not an easy task at all, But I'm reminded of the words of Frederick Douglass, who said, "It's easier to build strong children than to mend broken men." And therefore, I think every person should really take up the baton for child protection, because in this way, we are building a strong society.